controlling our media? MCMC's role in shaping Malaysian content.
Have you ever been watching a video or reading a post and suddenly, boom, it's disappeared? Blocked or blurred? So who decides what we're going to see? So today, we're digging the role of MCMC, that's the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commissions, and how they control what show up in our media. Are they really protecting us from the harmful content? Or are they just limiting our freedoms of speech?
So there have been a lot of comments about MCMCs, and some say MCMC is over-censoring, but some say MCMC is too slow to take down harmful content, where what MCMC's role is in regulating social media content.
The MCMC doesn't take down content. Actually, MCMC facilitates between law enforcement agencies like PDRM and these platforms.
So just as you know, MCMC was set up in 1998 under the Communications and Multimedia Act. Their job? To monitor, supervise, and enforce the law across everything from our TV, internet, radio, and our social media. Let's take a closer look at how MCMC deals with moral issue in this media content. Case number 1, Bunga Ultimate in 2018. The songs Bunga by rapper Ultimate gained a massive popularity, especially during election season.
Nak merasa, nak join sekali bersama. Mereka-mereka yang viral trending semasa. Isi ini borang, kedua wang berkoyan. Korang jangan goyang. Kemudian, mohon terus lulus.
But it faced a temporary restrictions due to its strong and bold lyric. Even though the lyrics were not vulgar or explicit, some party viewed it too aggressive, especially in its political undertone. This raised a concern: is bold expression no longer acceptable? Many artists and netizens defend the songs, saying it reflects the voice of the peoples, especially youth who want changes. So this case shows moral standards can sometimes be used to tone down content that challenges authority.
But let's take a look at a similar case that I'm going to show you, which is Fahmi Reza, because I think everyone know that he is an activist. So how about his posts on social media? Why all of his posts doesn't has been taken down? It is because of
many people supported him, and if they remove the post, it might cause a public anger. So yes, MCMC work to protect morality, but sometimes it's not easy to decide what is right or what is wrong, especially when it involves freedom of speech and a public opinion.
Case number 2, Watson Riot Ad in 2017. Watson released a festival's commercials during Hari Raya that sparked a major backlash. The ad features a princess with a dark skin who become the fairer, implying the beauty is tied to skin color. It is widely condemned for being racist and promoting the colorism. Hashtag like hashtag stop racism and hashtag not funny Watson trend in social media. MCMC received multiple reports, and though Watson took down the ad voluntarily. This case shows how moral insensitivity, even if it's unintentional, can trigger national outrage. It also highlights the MCMC's roles in mediating public complaints about ethics and advertising. Case 3, LGBTQ content block in 2022. MCMC confirmed that they had blocked over 6,000 pieces of LGBTQ content on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Netflix. They stated the content was not suitable and went against local value and norms, but this sparked the hatred and debate. While some supported the move, arguing it protected Malaysia's cultural values, others said it reinforced the discriminations. Many human rights groups call it censorship, and LGBTQ+ activists argue its silence and already marginalized the groups. This case raised the questions: are moral standards being used to protect the public
or to suppress diversity? Now, let's look at how MCMC handles diversity of opinion, especially in media that challenges the mainstream narrative. Case 4, Malaysia kini fine RM500,000 in 2020.
Hakim mendapati Malaysia kini bertanggungjawab atas penghinaan terhadap mahkamah menerusi komen pembacanya.
In a situation, in an environment where everyone has a megaphone, in an environment where that we have social media today, vibrant social media, we explain, we illuminate, we educate. Instead, of trying to punish media organizations like Malaysia Kini.
The reason? A comment made by a reader on their website that allegedly insulted the judiciary. But here's the issue. The comment wasn't written by the editors and was taken down once reported. The heavy fine sparked national debate. Journalists and civil society groups said this was a threat to press freedom and freedom of speech. It was even reported internationally, raising concern that the government was using MCMC and legal tools to silence critical voices. Case 5. Reformasi, the road to GE15 documentary blocked. In 2023, a local documentary titled Reformasi, the road to GE15 was barred from being aired on mainstream TV. The documentary focused on political reform in Malaysia and included interviews with opposition figures and activists.
About the title, Is Reformasi Dead? Has Anwar betrayed the rakyat of Malaysia?
Who have accused him of betraying reformist ideals by openly endorsing political loyalty over integrity.
Although it was well received online, it was deemed too sensitive by broadcaster. Many felt this was an example of political censorship, blocking content just because it offered a different political view. This case shows how MCMC and broadcasting body may lean towards protecting the status quo rather than allowing a variety of voices to be heard. Lastly, let's talk about how MCMC deals with false information, especially during national crisis. Case 6, COVID-19 fake news. During the pandemic, fake news spread like wildfire, from false COVID cures to fake lockdown announcement.
Menyebut tentang berita palsu. Kan bahawa kerajaan memandang serius kepada berita palsu, kertas siasatan telah pun dibuka oleh PDRM dan SKMM yang berkaitan dengan berita palsu mengenai COVID-19. Dari jumlah tersebut,
MCMC teamed up with the police to investigate and take down more than 250 fake news reports. Over 20 individuals were arrested and some were charged for spreading panic. This was one of the rare times MCMC's action were widely supported because it helped prevent fear and confusion. Case 7. GE15 political misinformation in 2022. During the 15th general election, thousands of fake social media accounts were detected. These accounts spread edited videos, fake news articles, and misleading political claims. MCMC moved quickly to remove many of these accounts and content, a step many saw as necessary to protect democratic integrity. However, some observers noted selective enforcement, where only certain group content was removed, while other with similar violations were left untouched. So while MCMC's efforts were helpful, it again raised the issue: are rules applied fairly or only to certain sites?
Objectivity versus bias in media. Let's go straight to it. Media should be objective. That means fair, balanced, and based on facts, not taking side. But the truth is, in Malaysia,
We want good thing. Oh. We like good thing. How you pay for good thing? He want bad thing. No, we don't want bad thing. We want bad thing. No, we don't want bad thing.
in Malaysia, objectivity is not just missing, it's often rejected. So when only one side gets highlighted and other is ignored or silenced, that's not journalism, that's propaganda.
The information coming from Malaysian authorities about the missing plane has been a mess. Sometimes the information has been incomplete, other times it's turned out to be totally wrong. Transparency has been lacking, to say the least. It's kind of like watching a case study in how not to handle a crisis. Well, maybe one major reason is because Malaysia does not have a free press the way we're used to having here in the United States. The media there is mostly government controlled, so officials are not in the habit of answering questions they don't want to answer.
In fact, scholars like Atten and Hamilton 2008 argue that some alternative media internationally reject objectivity. They believe trying to stay neutral can sometimes hide injustice, so instead they choose to take a stand, especially on political or ethical issues. So, Case 8, government-owned media, TV3 and RTM. In 2022, the Merdeka Center found that 73% of Malaysians believe TV3 and RTM are biased and not neutral. These are government-funded stations when they only promote positive story about the ruling party and avoid criticism. That's rejection of journalistic objectivity. It tells the public this is the only truth we want. You hear? So, Case 9, censorship during PRU 15 on TikTok. During the general election, many TikTok accounts supporting the oppositions were blocked
for being sensitive.
Taken down a total of 1,126 videos that were deemed provocative and extreme after the 15th general election, says the Communications and
Jumlah video yang telah dikekang secara automatik berjumlah 857 video dalam TikTok ya.
But accounts promoting the government with similar or worse content were left untouched. So, this is not just bias, it's selective censorship, and it sent a message that some voices don't deserve to be heard. This is the rejection of media fairness.
Conclusion: when media becomes a tool to protect certain narratives and silence others, objectivity is not just compromised, it's completely thrown out. And when that happens, we, the people, cannot make informed choices. We only get one version of the truth, and that is so dangerous because media is not just about entertainment. It shapes how we see the world, who we trust, and how we vote. Here's what we have learned. MCMC is the regulator. They play a major role in deciding what we have allowed to see, to read, and to share in Malaysia. From banning the immoral content to fighting the fake news. And yes, some of it is necessary. But when enforcement is one-sided, it's no longer protection. It becomes control. And when media content is filtered to benefit certain parties, it's no longer public service. It becomes public manipulation. So, media researchers like Fudge in 2010 remind us that alternative media is not meant to follow the same rules as the mainstream media. Instead, it should give people the new perspective, challenge dominant and power structures, and also involve the audience in shaping their contents. That's why we need both the critical alternative voices and fair, objective reporting. And without this balance, our media ecosystem becomes dangerously one-sided. We're not saying that every piece of content should be allowed, but when the media only serves one voice, then it stops serving the people. That's the real issue now. Not just the censorship, but the active rejection of the objectivity in the media we rely on every day. So, is our media free or filtered? Or are we getting the truth or just what we have allowed to see? What do you think? You decide.
Well, maybe one major reason is because Malaysia does not have a free press the way we're used to having here in the United States. Transparency has been lacking, to say the least. It's kind of like watching a case study on how not to handle a crisis.